Hey there. So you're looking to break into the huge US market, right? But maybe you've hit that first big roadblock, banking. Don't worry, you're definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to walk through exactly how you, as a global entrepreneur, can open a US bank account from literally anywhere in the world. This is it, the million-dollar question, the one that stops so many amazing international founders in their tracks. How in the world do you open a U.S. business bank account without an SSN, a social security number? It seems impossible, but I promise you, it's not. Okay, so before we dive into the solutions, let's just quickly get on the same page about the challenge. It's important to understand the obstacles that so many of you are up against. To make this super clear, let's talk about Daniel. He's a sharp digital entrepreneur from South Africa. He runs a design agency, and a lot of his best clients are in the States. He wants to make his US presence official, get paid easily, look more professional. Does that sound at all familiar? Daniel's story is probably a lot like yours. So why does this matter so much? Honestly, this is way more than just a convenience thing. We're talking about earning directly in US dollars. It's about getting access to crucial platforms like Stripe, PayPal, and Amazon, because they often demand a US account. It's about building trust. Let's be real, US clients just feel better paying into a domestic bank. And maybe most importantly, it's about protecting your personal assets by setting up a US LLC. This is a huge, game-changing move for your business. For the longest time, this whole process was just a nightmare. It was confusing, it was expensive, it was frustrating. But here's the really good news. The rules of the game, they've totally changed. This right here is the new reality. Thanks to a massive wave of fintech innovation, what used to be next to impossible is now pretty standard. You can do this from your home, you can do it without an SSN, and you can do it without ever needing to step foot in the US. Okay, I bet you're thinking, this is great, so what do I actually need to do? Let's get right into it. We're going to break down what you need to get in place before you even start filling out a single application. It really boils down to 3 key steps. First, you absolutely need a U.S. business entity, and for most people, that's an LLC. Second, once the LLC is formed, you apply to the IRS for something called an EIN, an employer identification number. Just think of it like a social security number, but for your business. And third, you get all your paperwork in a row. Nail these 3 things, and you're good to go. So what documents are we talking about here? Well, the checklist is actually pretty straightforward. You're going to need your official LLC formation documents, that EIN confirmation letter the IRS sends you, your passport or another government ID, and a really clear description of what your business does. A good website is perfect for this. Some banks might ask for proof of address, but you know what? Your international address is usually totally fine. Just make sure you have nice, clear digital copies of everything ready to upload. All right, documents are ready. Now for the big decision. Where do you actually open the account? This is where things get really interesting, because not every bank or platform is designed for founders like us. Let's compare the best options out there. Let's focus on the platforms that do not require an SSN. First up is Mercury. Honestly, this is the top choice for most tech startups and LLCs, and it has 0 monthly fees. Then you've got Wise Business, which is absolutely fantastic if you're sending invoices in different currencies. There's also Payoneer, which is the go-to for freelancers and anyone selling on marketplaces like Amazon or Upwork. And finally, Airwallex, a really powerful choice for businesses that handle a lot of global payments and foreign exchange. Now, it's just as important to know which doors are probably going to be closed, because this will save you a ton of time and frustration. Platforms like Relay, Brex, and Bluevine, or traditional banks like Chase or Bank of America, they almost always require an SSN or a special text number called an ITIN. Some even want you to have a US address or show up in person. For most remote founders, these are just not the right places to start. Okay, so we've looked at all these options. How do you actually pick the one that's the perfect fit for your business? Let's make this dead simple. Let's just match your business to the right platform. If you're a tech startup, an e-commerce brand, or you have a standard US LLC, Mercury is almost always going to be your best bet. If you basically live on payouts from freelance sites or marketplaces, go straight to Payoneer. Need to invoice people in euros, pounds, and dollars? Wise is your answer. And for more complex stuff like global payments and APIs, you'll want to check out Airwallex. It's really that straightforward. All right, let's do a couple of quick-fire questions that I know are on your mind. First and foremost, the big one. Do you actually have to get on a plane and fly all the way to the United States for any of this? And the answer is a huge definite no. That's the real magic of all this new technology. The entire process, from filling out the application to getting your account numbers, is designed to be done 100% online, right from your laptop. Okay, next question. Will these accounts actually work with the platforms you need to get paid from? You know, the big ones, Stripe, Amazon, Upwork. Yes, absolutely. In fact, they were built for this. Mercury and Stripe work together perfectly. It's probably the most common setup for online businesses. And like we said, Payoneer is literally designed from the ground up to pull in payments from all those big global marketplaces. So let's just take a step back and see what this all means. After following these steps, you are now officially ready to get paid in US dollars. You're ready to access the world's biggest online platforms, build that crucial trust with your American clients, and run your entire US business from anywhere on the globe. The path is clear now. What used to be a massive headache for global entrepreneurs is now just a simple, straightforward process. The tools exist. The information is right here. So really, the only question left is this. The US market is waiting. Are you ready?